Ooh, DJ Davi.
What up, Purpose Pie? You in the 10-minute mix with your man DJ Davi.
Ooh, DJ Davi.
It's episode 58, and we got special guest Tanika Moore, author of Vanilla Setbacks. She representing the Charlotte, North Kakalaki. What up, 704? We're going to do this mix with a little classic reggae throwback. Let's go. Purpose Pod is hosted by none other than Mr. Allen Levi Simmons. What up, boy?
Body glamorous, get away, them body glamorous, it's like a blessing from above. Okay, we go on the gallon with them body glamorous, get away. Body glamorous, it's like a blessing from above. She got the champion body, I want the gala profile. Body with the girl, I'm about drive Patrick and the wild. Champion body, I want the gala profile.
Let's go.
Body with the girl, we would have water.
Oh yeah, we going back. We going all the way back, baby. We're on the Purpose Pod, episode 58. Classic reggae. Let's go. Let's go. This is how we feeling today, baby. This is how we feel.
DJ Davi.
Yes, now. Booming, bouncing, stalking, was walking.
Let's go. We got that old school DMX. Let's go.
Look at me like that. You just might fight black. And that fight might end up in me taking your life. That battle, go for the balls. Stop it down. The time is just too important to be kicking around. Yes, now.
I don't know if y'all ready today. I didn't know if y'all was ready to take it there today. Let's go, baby. Who am I? DJ Davi.
Ooh, DJ Davi.
Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na.
All day, every day, coming to you live from the 305. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. What's next? What's next? Let's go. I see you go ahead, do it again. Hey, it's getting crazy on the Purpose Pod. 10-minute mix. Let's go with your man DJ Davi.
Ooh, DJ Davi.
Just make a boy know you're not blow. It's like kill him with you know. No boy ain't got no secret for your wow. It's like kill him with you know. Just make a boy know you're not blow. It's like kill him with you know. Tell them to be a gas so.
Okay. Are we taking it all the way back? Let's go, Purpose Pod. We going back to that. Booyaka, booyaka. Hey. Yes.
My love is very special.
Yes.
But don't get me so dirty. So So much things I did not say. I'm from Portmore, that's in J. Hey, we can do it on that.
Like this. Hey. 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 Oh, what is this? What is this? Let's go.
Tanika, where you at?
What is it? What is this?
Where you at?
What is this?
Hey.
What is this?
I'm feeling it.
Hey, it's a vibe, right? It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
I like this. I like this. I had to bring you on, see how you was vibing with it. You know, we vibing. So we're gonna be live in a little bit, y'all. We got 2 minutes. We'll see you in a little bit, Tanika.
All right.
Let's go. Hey, I told you, we ain't playing around today.
DJ Davi.
Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to the 704.
I'm so special.
What?
I'm so special, so special, so special. Tell them enough fear, too fierce expression. Like, you know, dirty mouth can't chase
Why does it have to be this way? Can't tell you go,
Can't tell you to stay.
Just one of
It's just one of them days, baby. Purpose Pod, episode 58. Let's go. Woo! Lighter, I need my lighter. I need my lighter. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wait a minute, what you got for me now? Ooh,
where do you go down to need my love,
let me get that.
baby? Why can't
Ooh,
you
we
come
got torches
on
out
and let us play? When are you going to come my way?
We don't need lighters, we got torches.
What sort of things they've been telling you? I got to
We
stop
got torches,
them from
baby.
compelling you, girl. They just won't stop me from getting you.
This torch getting a little high. All right, let's keep it going.
Give me a try, 'cause
Ooh, DJ Davi.
I'm gonna take you right there.
Let's go.
Love for a lifetime. I'm gonna make your life so clear. Girl, gonna make you mine, make you mine, make you mine, make you mine.
Hold on. Let me put this out for this. Hold on. Anyway, let's keep this thing rocking. Hey, you know we can't have Miss Tanika Moore, author of Vanilla Setbacks, on. Yo, Alan, I think it's your time. I think we're about ready for that 30-second countdown. Yo, y'all make sure y'all enjoy this episode. Super excited. Let's go, baby. On you, 30-second count.
You are now listening to the Purpose Pod, hosted by Alan Levi Simmons. This podcast is a platform to give listeners an inside perspective on purpose, business, and life experiences. If you're interested in finding purpose or discovering paths that could lead you into your purposeful life, this is the podcast for you. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for the Purpose Pod.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across the world, across the galaxy? What's up, all my beautiful people? Welcome back to the Purpose Pod. The Purpose Pod, purposely living and driving you forward. To this day, I am so glad to have, let me stop playing around with y'all, but today is a special day. I am so excited. I had to get in my little theater mode because like when I was reading this book, I'm telling y'all, I was like, look, let me show y'all what I look like for the first half. I was like this out there because y'all know I can't see no more out there. I was out there like this, boy. And I had this book. Yes, Vanilla Setbacks. Oh my God. Let me tell you, folks, I have the author right here on the Purpose Pod, and she is coming to share her story, her journey, and her book. Let's welcome author Tanika Moore. Woo!
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Let me fix my seat. I'm about to fall out. What's going on, Tanika? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm just so excited. I felt like this. We've been waiting for this day. I felt like last week took forever. I'm ready to interview her because I'm so excited to share just you with the world. You're an awesome person. We had a chance to chit chat for a little bit yesterday, and you're just awesome. So first and foremost, thank you for being on the show.
No problem.
Man, it's an honor. It's an honor. So Tanika, I interviewed your husband about 10 episodes ago. Right? 10 episodes ago. And I think that this is just phenomenal having you on here now with your book. Talk on that real quick. How do you feel about being on the same platform? Your husband's usually racing and running races, right? So like now you're on the same platform celebrating, your accomplishment with your husband. How do you feel about that today?
It feels really good. It's a different, I guess, it's emotional because I watch him on the daily. He is my hero. I always tell him I want to be like him, because he's just so popular and he always has his hands in this and that. So it's exciting to be at the forefront now, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's dope. And you are like, I know, like you said, you're a mother, wife, and now it's time for you to shine as Tanika Moore. And I think I'm excited for you. I expressed that yesterday about how I'm excited about your journey and or your future. So let's take a step back though, and let's talk about right now. COVID. How have you been adapting with everything with COVID?
It's a process. I work from home now, so that was something I wanted to do for years, and I hate to say the disaster made it happen, but it did. So I've been, blessed to be able to work from home. I'm here with the kids, and husband pops in and out, but I love it. I'm able to more so tune in with my writing, so it's nice to be in a relaxed environment. It's not so much pressure. So I definitely, at first it was a struggle, I would say, because I couldn't stay away from the refrigerator.
Come on now, talk to me.
But now knowing that it's just something that's in your mind over matter, I would say it's getting a lot better. The stress level has gone down tremendously. So I definitely would say COVID, brought out the best in me. If I would have to say that, I lost a lot of weight, and so I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I know some people have had some struggles this year, and I have too, but I would say it's been more victory over loss.
Victory over loss. Come on, with the next book. Come on, victory over loss.
Victory over loss.
Let me write that down. I'm gonna go ahead and write that book before you do. I'm just playing.
Right.
Hey, victory. I'm gonna come out with t-shirts. Victory over loss.
There you go. Look,
I'm not gonna do it. That's you right there. I'm just playing around. Y'all don't steal that. Let Tanika do it. Y'all don't steal that from her. Okay, please don't steal it. But please, oh please, like we're gonna get here. I just wanted to show the book. It's so beautiful, and we're gonna get into. First, I want to ask you this question, and then we're going to do a trivia later on because we do have 2 books to give away today.
Yes, we do.
Yay. So, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the cover real quick because I want to ask something later on, and hopefully someone is listening and they'll be here later. Why did you, or how did this cover come to be? Like, how did this come to be?
So when you look at the title says it all. Vanilla for the vanilla plant, and then setbacks, just things you go through in life that you feel like may set you back. I always say, you know, a major fallback for a major comeback, you know, so, or a minor, you know, setback for a major comeback. So I would say that more so inspired it, you know, just with trials and tribulations. And like I said, you have to read it to truly understand the title.
Okay. Yeah. And definitely, you know, like once you read it, and I had a question about that actually, because all right, so I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't read it yet. If you haven't, it's your loss. It's your fault. You should have read it already. Now I got to hold back. I'm just playing. I'm sorry.
Are we giving spoilers?
I don't want to. No, I mean, like, but it's so good. Like, but I remember you said something about how you just had the idea of the vanilla, and then the person came with the actual like barbed wire and like the vanilla flower, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you told him that's what you wanted, right?
Basically, I basically said I want a vanilla plant and barbed wire. However you can interpret that, go with it. Yeah. And when I got it back, I was like, oh, I love it. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I gave him.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's a beautiful, and it's just really like it flows with the title. Everything flows. So good job on that. This is lovely. So we just got to show off that. If first and foremost, guys, if you're going to pick up a book, you're going to pick up something that is appealing, right? So you're going to check out this book and purchase it today. Okay, we are selling this book today, and we're giving it away. So I'm excited. And you call this a novella, right?
Yes.
So let's get into the novella. So what does that mean to you? What does novella mean to you?
So novella to me is more like a sensual, it's more so for the woman. So with a novel, you can more so put that to a male, but novella is like something you would never, you know, hear of. So to me, I more so would take it in that aspect. I think it's more so just sensual, and it more so caters to the woman.
I like that. Yeah, so you're catering to the women, and Tracey here probably would back you up in everything that you just said. And Tracey is the main character in her book. Man, Tracey is something else, y'all. Let me tell you. I'm talking about in the beginning, Tracey was something else. I was like, hold on a second, and you know, overall, it says Tracey has the perfect life, or it looks that way to the outside world. She has a cookie cutter family. Tracey attends a catering gig. That night, she meets a man who is her husband's total opposite. She has no way of preparing herself for the intraceable events ahead. Ultimately, she must make a decision that could alter several lives. And that is real life. Come on, Tanika.
Yes, come through.
Moore. Come on. Like just reading that and having read the book, like it's like, man, you have to go ahead and start flipping to page 1 off of that. And that's literally what I did. And I told her yesterday, I was like, look, sometimes it's hard for me to get into books, but like when I got into her book, you know, I just started really like going in, and I would have, you know, been the guy that said, oh, I'm not for these kinds of books, you know, about, you know, love and, you know, have different scenes, whatever it is, you know, I would be like, nah, that ain't me. And I know you mentioned that the other day as well, that's, you know, for men, they don't pick it up. But you even had a guy friend that was like, he couldn't put the book down. Right. So you want to speak on that real quick about how it has impacted not just women, but men who have picked up your book?
I mean, it more so, I mean, I even heard it was like a self-help book. I don't really know,
yeah,
you know, in that regard. But I definitely did have a coworker, and he was like, I don't read. I'm not reading your book. I'll buy it, but I'm not going to read it. And he read it like more than twice. So, you know, breaking people out of, you know, we don't read, you know, I mean, and the thing is, you want to have an attention grabber. So to me, I really put a lot of time, thought, and energy into my synopsis. It was a lot of time and thought put into the book itself. So I tried to give you a masterpiece.
Yes, I mean, and it is. And I told you it needs to be like a film. Like I told her that, y'all. Like it's going to come out. Vanilla Setbacks, the film. Look out, Charlotte.
Netflix, here we come.
Netflix, here we come. Hashtag Netflix.
Right.
You know, we're going to be there because I mean, like, geez Louise, you know, I'm over here about to read your whole book, but I ain't gonna read it for these people because I was about to say now, like, hold on, let me see something real quick. The way one ended, I was like, holy moly, donut shop. All right, so let me see. Oh, here it go right here. Hold on, bro. There we go. So it says, no. I don't want to do that one. I don't want to be too much. I don't know who watches. See, I got to be careful. I don't know who watch it. So let me just go ahead and share the.
We all grown. We all grown.
Now I got some kids that be watching sometimes, but
okay.
But so let me just draw the scene here. So Tracey, you know, the main character. Tracey, the main character, has a husband, which we all see in the book, right? You share that with us here, so I can share that part. Matter of fact, can you share what you're willing to share? You know, and I don't want to give it away. I don't want to be that guy you're mad at for the rest of your life because I didn't read the whole book online. You want to go? You go a little bit, and then I'll go in after you. You know, you go ahead. I'll dress the scene. Let me dress the scene real quick. So Tracey, I want to do this. I have to show that I at least read the book, so you know I'm not even just like go ahead and just tell me what happened in your book. So let me tell y'all something. So Tracey, you know, is not. First of all, I thought Tracey was a sister woman, right? I thought she was a black woman, but I soon found out other things. And I'm not going to give away what she was. I'm going to let people read that because when I found out, I was like, oh, Tracey isn't Tracey. I thought Tracey was like, you know, my Aunt Tracey, you know, I thought she was a sister. And but then, and even just the whole family makeup and how you painted it, I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, your middle class African-American family or whatever, or high class because her husband's job, right? And Mark's job. So I was just like, my whole mindset changed. Like it was like the middle of the book though, because I had this whole idea of who Tracey was. So anyways, I'm sorry. I'm like a Peter Pan fan, right? I mean, not Peter Pan, but Harry Potter fan right now about your book. So Tracey gets into this dilemma because she sees this guy, like she said, is the total opposite of her husband. So I'm trying to figure out when I was getting to that point, Tanika, like what is about to happen here? You know, and I'm just like, you know, I'm already like, you know, in the movies where they're like, oh no, she about, you know, and then it's like, oh no, she didn't. So I was like that with your book. And so just drawing the picture with her interaction with Rodney, could you just go into like, how did you come up with this story? Like, how did you come up with a story like this?
How? Every author, of course, includes themselves in their work. You know, whether it's a painter, whether it's a writer, you know, poetry, whatever the case is, you include yourself. So I feel like, in a sense, Tracey is me, because I am the writer. So I would say that I did insert a little bit of my personality and, you know, just self experiences. I would say contributed to the making of Tracey.
Yeah. Wow. And you know, so what Tracey goes through is this battle of like she has a whole family and a husband, and then this guy Rodney shows up, and she, you know, she's like falling for this guy like heavily.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you know, when people are reading, like I was reading it and I was like, oh man, like this is like a crazy movie that I'm watching. Like I'm just like so into this, like what's about to happen to each character, and you were able to connect me with every character. Like I felt like I knew Rodney until, you know, like later down the road when we found out Rodney wasn't Rodney. But you know, I'm gonna leave that to the reader right there. Y'all got to go figure that out because you know, you think Rodney is this guy, you know, he has the chess pieces at his house, the fish tanks in his room and all that stuff. I was like, come on, Tanika, you didn't hook the man house up and everything.
Yeah.
So you went into like the imagery and everything that you did in your book. It brought everything to life as if I was watching a film. How did you do that? Like, did you go to writing classes, or is this just something natural that you were able to do?
The gift comes natural. But I always try to, I'm a big movie buff. So I can literally predict a movie as I'm watching it. And my husband's like, can you please, like, don't say nothing else? Like, why do you already know this is going to happen? And it's like, because I'm an author, so I have that knack, you know, for it. But to me, I always think about if I'm describing something, like I could just say the car was red, but instead saying the car was candy apple red with a sheer finish, you can see that versus it's just it's just red. So to me, I think that was a big thing. Like you could easily write, oh, it was a woman with red hair, or whatever the case is, but really describing without going into too much detail, because that was something that I struggled with writing. I was a little too detailed. So I had to stop and say, okay, this isn't the main character. Why am I just describing this much about this person? So just getting you just a glimpse, just like how you see somebody in a grocery store. You may not remember their full facial features, but you may remember, oh, she had on, she had a nose ring, or oh, she had glasses on, or she had a fro, or whatever the case is. So to me, I wanted to put you in the mind that if you were watching a movie, you would know exactly what I could paint you a movie in your head just by you reading my book.
Right. Come on now, painter. The painter, the architect.
Yes.
Come on now. Because you did that. And, there were scenes in the book. And I'm like, maybe, am I old enough to watch this scene? Am I old enough to read about this? I was
Collect your pearls.
I was about to be like this. I was over here flipping the pages like, my mom and daddy watching. But no, it's real clean. And the way you did it wasn't like too much. It wasn't like an excess. It was just like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. Like, but it's really good. Like you did a really good job explaining. You did a really great job explaining like just the personal details of each person, the way they smelt, like how they felt. Like she was like so descriptive, y'all. Like I wish y'all could pick up this book right now and read it, because she did a really great job doing that. So I just wanted to say that, I'm probably going to say that like 100 more times on this podcast, because you did. And I'm so like, when I picked it up, I wasn't expecting to like really be into the characters like that. I thought I was just going to just read your book like, oh man, this is a great book. But I'm like, man, like, is there going to be more? And I know there is going to be more, right? Cool. So
definitely.
so I want to get into your journey as an author, and we'll get back to your book. But so highlighting you as an author, how long has this journey been for you? Have you been writing since you was like 2, or was it like so how long has this journey been for you?
I've been writing since I was in middle school. I actually wrote my first book when I was in the 8th grade, and it was called Murder Mayhem. And I actually let somebody read it, and they never gave it back. Wow. And it broke my heart. Because I was really, into it. I was like, I'm going to do something with this book. But I just took it as a stepping stone, and I was like, you know what? It's okay. So believe it or not, Vanilla Setbacks is not my first book officially. I actually wrote a book called Love, Sex, and Food in Between.
Sex and food in between.
Yeah.
Write that down.
So actually that was one of my first books, and I actually just dissected it and made it into Vanilla Setbacks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So hold on. So where the food was going to come from in between all of that?
She was actually a health inspector. So it was more so like when somebody that I knew read it, they said it reminded them of like Deliver Us from Eva, but with a little kick to it. Yeah. So that's how Vanilla Setbacks came about. So it actually was dissected from another book I wrote.
That's dope. That's awesome. Yeah. And I know that, you mentioned yesterday, with your writing journey that you took a break and you were kind of done. And your brother, you was working with your brother on his book. And like, can you share that story? Because it really inspired me, because one, you have a unique story that a lot of people probably don't hear about. So could you just share that journey with your brother and his writing process, and then which led you into your writing your book?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So basically, I became a power of attorney for my brother and all his affairs with his book. And it was a publishing company that I kept hearing about. He kept telling me about. So I was working on his project for a long time. And it was like day and night, no husband time, no kids time. Yeah. I was like fully devoted to editing, critiquing the writing. And it got to be so exhausting that I was like, this can't be life. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was so lost. And what I ended up doing was, it was like, it was taking me so long that, he was upset. And, I was like, I understand. I get it. I have a life. I have, kids. I have a job. Like, so because it took so long, I was like, well, let me just take a break from it. Maybe I just need to pause because I was really getting stressed out. And as a writer, that can happen. Like, you can get completely frustrated and like throw your work away. Like I've done it. So I actually was going through the closet and I was looking for something. And my manuscript actually felt like my notebook that I write in, because I never was really big on like writing on a computer. It actually fell on the ground in front of me. And the actual name of the book before was called Trial and Error. And it just fell in front of me and I was like, okay, this is it. It's time to pick it up. Like I literally had it in the back of the closet. So for it to fall out of the closet into my hands, I was like, okay, it's time. So, and sometimes we can get so wrapped up in other things, we forget about ourselves. And I felt like I was a waste. I felt like, with work, it's like, okay, all I do is work. All I do is work. And my husband like, you're just so, you're so devoted to your job, but what about your craft? Like, you can write, you can sing, So it was like, okay, which one do I want to do? Do I want to sing? Do I want to write? And I'm like, I really want to write. And like, I could literally pick a word and I could write you a whole poem off just the word.
Come on now. That's how, you about to freestyle or something?
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
If you want to freestyle, you can go ahead and freestyle real quick. You know what I'm saying?
But that's how it was with me. So it was like, I was like, it's time to pick this up. It's time to get moving. But believe it or not, Vanilla Setbacks is about 8 years in the making. It's something that I finished writing it officially in 2 months, and I put it down. And I was like, I'm not picking it back up. I'm not going to do nothing with it. And like I said, it was in the closet. So for me to pick it up and really focus my attention on it, no other distractions. I stopped my brother's project. I was like, look, if he can do it, I can do it. So, and I did it.
That's dope. So like the fact that you decided to take action is really big. And like when it comes to like producing a book or producing a product, such as this great novella, a lot of people don't know how to get into it. They don't know how to start writing or how to pick up the pen and just start creating. And, maybe they don't have a deep connection with the artist inside of them. So what advice would you give someone who is like struggling to get back to writing or even struggling to write their story down?
Don't be afraid of what people are going to say. If you have a nasty mind, hey, I mean, I'm just saying, if you more so want to do something with elementary, whatever it is, like push yourself. Like, even if you're asleep and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, like, and you just wake up and you need to write. Like, because at the end of the day, it's your story and only you can tell it. Nobody can tell you, well, I read this book and I don't feel like, you may have people that say, well, I read your book, I don't really care for it. But, those are things you just have to look at and, okay, well, this person didn't like it, but 8,000 people did. So, you just have to keep you have to keep pushing. If you're a writer, like, go full force with it. Like, I tell anybody, I mean, like, I go to spoken word and everything, like, and I do poetry, it's not something I do on a regular basis, but I do love to write poems. Another thing that helped me is old school spiderweb. I don't know if anybody does that, but spiderweb. So you just you put that circle in the middle of the page and you just start drawing those lines and you just start jotting down your ideas. So that's something that's also helping me with part 2 of my book. Because it's like, if I think of an idea, I'm like, oh, let me write it down so I won't lose it. So then that way you have something as a reminder. I have a lot of notebooks around the house that I keep. So I'm constantly jotting something down. I read something every day, whether it's a notebook, whether it's a news article, just something just to keep those creative juices flowing. So I would say, when you feel the urge, if it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, write. And you'll get it out there. You'll start pushing yourself so much, and you'll let that guard down, that you'll start writing and you'll be comfortable with it. And it's your therapy. It's my therapy.
Facts.
And I would say that because, you know, I mean, I'm bearing all, but I was suicidal, and you know, writing helped me. Like it helped me get over the suicidal thoughts. But things like that are something that people take lightly. Some people take lightly. I don't take it lightly. So when things like that happen, I mean, I had to force myself out of the hole, and writing was my truth. Writing got it out there for me. So I would say keep pushing. Even if you don't feel like it's too early in the morning. It's never too early to write a story. It's never too early to make money. That's what I say. So
that's a fact.
you know, that's the biggest thing I would say as far as my advice to anyone.
Yeah. And that's great advice, Tanika. Thank you. That was really good advice, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, they don't pick up the pen. They don't wake up 3 o'clock in the morning because they're afraid, you know, that people won't accept their stories. And like you said, like, hey, if you want to write something dirty, go ahead and write something dirty. You know, like write whatever frees your soul at that moment in time, or whatever story you have on your heart, because this story is real life. You know what I mean? This story is real life. And like you said, people learn lessons. It's like, well, dang, now I see how I got to treat my wife, or now I see maybe I need to spend more time with my spouse, or, you know, maybe I need to pay more attention to my daughter or son, you know, whatever those things are. You know, you start to see that within this book. And I believe that this is a really good book, and you can apply this in different marriage classes and stuff like that too, because this highlights an area, you know, that a lot of people, you know, need to talk about. And it puts it in a different way that is, you know, people could be open, like, oh, wow, what do y'all think about Rodney's action at this moment in time? You know, what could Tracey have done at that moment when she saw Rodney smiling over at her? You know, so I love what you said, you know, and so my question also is, to follow that up, is what about those people who have those stories and people are like, no, you shouldn't write something like that. You know, I don't agree with, you know, that form of writing. You know, what do you say to those people who, you know, their families are Christians, or, you know, Buddhists, or, you know, they come from Islamic background, whatever it is, like, what, you know, how could you get out of that, you know, because of those expectations people put on you?
We're all human. That's the biggest thing I would say. You know, people make mistakes, people have thoughts, you know, things like that happen. And you have so many people, well, I would never do anything like that, but you never know. Because if you look at my character, would she have thought that? No, but it happened. And there's always some type of void there. And that's why things like that happen, because it's something, whether you're a workaholic, you know, whether you care too much, whether you smother somebody, like it's always something there. So to me, you know, like I said, people are going to say what they want, you know, like I said, this story is my, you know, it's my character. And again, certain things are me, but this isn't about me. I've had so many people, like, you know, DM me and message me like, oh, well, how did your husband deal with it? And I'm like, this isn't about me. Pineapples.
Pineapples.
but you know, it's something that, like I said, I feel like you should live in your truth. You know, I mean, we're human, like I said. I mean, and that's just at the end of the day. And if you don't want to tell it, somebody else will. And that's just how I see it. So we live in a world where we're exposed to so many things, and I feel like these are things that are not discussed. And definitely, if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. And these are things that are frowned upon. So I would definitely say it was something to shed some light on.
And it's like you give people an insight on the inside, like what the thought process is, and like everything. Like you break it down, like you wrote the whole script. You can literally be like, son, I wrote that script, son. You can't tell me nothing. So that's awesome. And I wanted to ask you, you know, like you talk about like living in your truth. What has this book done for you? Like writing this book, what has it done for you?
Oh my goodness. Like my self-confidence is through the roof. Like I feel like I can do anything, you know. It's opened up so many different doors for me. Like I've never been a social butterfly. So to me, getting a book out there and having a talk in public and doing the podcast and, I even go live, with cooking and everything like that randomly. So, I mean, just being a voice, like I was always a kid that really didn't talk. I more so stayed in my room. So it was like, this allows me to have a platform. It allows me to come from being just, more Moo's wife. Actually, I found my person. I discovered myself, and it's really great. So I would say that my husband just walked in, of course.
What up, big boy?
What's up, Alan?
What up, dog?
Everybody.
Yes, I think he wants to be included in the podcast.
He couldn't let you shine. He didn't want to let you
let me shine. But I feel like it's giving me a platform, definitely, like I said, because being a runner's wife, that's definitely something that, you can get lost in translation. So I would definitely say this is, my time. And like I said, I'm able to talk in front of people and, I have to communicate with people. So sending emails and things like that I wasn't really strong in, I'm actually able to, work on that now that I am an author.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so like this is good because a lot of people are now able to see, like she mentioned earlier, and I want to thank you for I wanted to thank you for sharing, that process that you went through with suicide, and the experience that you had, and I wanted to kind of go back there and connect where you are right now, since I asked you, like, how do you feel now? And having been someone myself, I've been through that as well, like those suicidal thoughts and, attempts, whatever it is, like I've been there. So I wanted to go there and kind of connect the growth, the blessings, and the struggle, and I wanted to connect them because people don't know, like, maybe they are going through that right now and they're going through those suicidal thoughts and they don't see how they can produce a book or they can find their purpose, in doing whatever it is. How do you feel like writing this book like saved your life? Like, so I want to attach people to their purpose so that it can save their life as well. And, I'm not trying to get into religious things or anything like that. We're talking about finding our purpose. Right, so anybody thinking that people finding hope in what they do is that is a thing, you know what I'm saying? So can you speak to the person that's like right now, they have this beautiful story inside of them, but they're feeling suicidal, they feel like giving up, could you just go ahead and speak to them from your heart? I know we didn't practice this, y'all, so I just wanted her to speak on that real quick.
Just push through it. Like I said, things are hard. And I always live with the motto that things could always be worse.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I really focus on. But like I said, just find strength through your struggle. So when you feel like, oh man, I'm not pretty enough, because sometimes we can get on social media and look at the, the person that's, skinny and, that's how I'm supposed to look. And, that's where things get lost in translation. But I would say, even when you don't feel like writing, just write. Your story could inspire so many people. My story has inspired so many people, like Vanilla Setbacks. I've had so many people reach out to me like, you know what? I really was scared to write a book and you did it and I'm ready. Like I have a cousin, like, I have so many, friends and family that have reached out to me and they're like, hey, I had somebody reach out to me yesterday, like, hey, I'm doing a family tree book and I just, want to talk to you about, what are tips and everything like that. So I've been able to advise, and it feels good to help people. And like I said, people can DM me, you can message me, if you have my number, call me, and I'm up and I'll tell you, like, do it. Like, don't be afraid. I was so afraid of rejection. Like, before I published my book, I was like, Darius, nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to buy it. It's not going to sell. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't want to do this. And I would get so upset and I would cry in the corner and, it was just bad. But once I let that guard down, because so many people are afraid of how they're going to be viewed. And that's why a lot of people don't write. But like I said, if you're a writer, write. Like, do it. It's so fun and it's therapy for me. And I get so frustrated when I cannot write. Like, I push myself to the point I'm like, okay, I have to write something, even if it's just one sentence. Like, I push myself to go, and that's what you have to do in life. When it gets hard, continue to push yourself because the end result is everything.
Come on with it, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach Moore. Are you the other Coach Moore, huh? You the other Coach Moore. Coach Timo. Coach Timo. He said, never stop, never quit, repeat.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We'll get to those questions soon. If y'all have questions, I see a lot of comments on here. Brendan, I see you. I just wanted to get through here and make sure we give Miss Tanika her spotlight so we can shine on her. So Tanika, this is awesome. And I'm so glad that you overcame, those obstacles and that you were able to shine your light by writing this book and inspire other people. And, I know you mentioned that someone in India had also read your book.
Yes.
Could you go? I wanted to help some authors out there who may be struggling with getting their book in other countries. What did you do or what did you find out that got your book viewed in India or read in India?
I will tell you, hashtags are everything. You'll see people and they'll have 72 hashtags and you're like, why do they have so many hashtags? Because what people don't understand is when people see a hashtag, they just click on it. And when they click on it, it shows everything that people have hashtagged. And one reason why I felt like my book wasn't really being sold at its full potential is because I wasn't thinking about people outside of the United States. Like, oh, I'm just going to close it to Charlotte or, wherever. So it's like, okay, I'll just reach the 50 states and I'll be good. But it's like, no, because I work with people from India. So in the Philippines. So things like that, I literally just went in and I still did repost, share, Novella Bella, things like that. And I put international and just after a day, 5 people in India bought my book.
Come on with it.
Just having those if you're a writer and you're trying to get yourself outside of the US, if you put in your hashtag international, people are watching and people will click on it and they will purchase your book. So don't just have it where you're just so closed-minded to United States. People out in India and other places do read.
Come on now. You need to go ahead. You got a couple of shirts you didn't say it on this show. You might need to go back. You've been dropping some words. You've been dropping some words that should go on some shirts, and do your thing. We're gonna boost her up, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all support her because she's gonna do her thing out here. And like she said, she's working on her second novella. So like I'm excited about that. And so what keeps you going? Like what gives you this energy to continue to produce,
My kids are a big inspiration. They always tell me, never give up. And I always tell them never give up. So I even read, my work to my kids. I don't, seclude them from anything. They are a part of my life. They are my life. So I definitely, I read to my oldest daughter. I read to my youngest daughter. So I always get feedback from them and just leaving behind a legacy is what keeps me going. The fact that I can Google myself and it's not a mugshot.
Yeah.
That's major. I have a clean record, knock on wood. I've never had a speeding ticket or anything, but being able to Google me and see that I'm an author, that my name is on something, that's major for me. Like my kids, they go to school, they're like, oh, my mom's a writer. And that's something big for me. Cause like I said, being in the shadows of a spouse that, has, popularity and things like that. And you're like, oh, what about me? So it's like, you can only do so much. You have to have your own journey. And I feel like, this is my journey, my writing journey.
My writing journey. See, now we got it. So now we're going to start a blog. The blog is going to be called My Writing Journey. And then so we're going to build this up. Like I see the empire happening right now, Tanika, because I swear people, you guys need to, can you just give them so for those who just got in here, how would you explain your elevator pitch for Vanilla Setbacks? What would you tell them to kind of get them interested in reading your book? This is a good one.
What would I say to get them? If you're looking for something that's going to be mystery, sexy, an attention grabber, emotional roller coaster, this is the book for you. Because it's gonna make you mad. It's going to make you happy. It's
Mhm.
going to make you question things. And you're probably going to be mad at me after you read it, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely if it's something, and my thing with my writing, you know, and it's nothing against anybody else. I want it to break the norm, you know?
Mhm.
So to me, I feel like this isn't your typical gangster book or,
Yeah.
you know, I want it to be different.
Mhm.
So I chose my title is everything to me. I
Yeah.
love the title of my book. It's so catchy. Like, and I always thought about that, like, how can I write this and what title can I do to make somebody just pick it up?
Yeah.
And people will tell me like the picture in the title is everything. So
Yeah.
to me, that was something that I focused on. And I've been reading my whole life. Like I love reading. So I
Yeah.
used to always pick up books in Walmart, like, I don't want to read that. So I really wrote this with everybody in mind. Like if
Mhm.
you look at, and you probably don't know this because I didn't share this with you, but my book is written for a person who wears glasses. It's the print I looked at, you know, some people don't think about that, but
Yeah.
because I wear glasses, I'm a
Mhm.
4-eyed beauty. So because of that, I, thought about, hey, how many times have you been in a store or in a bookstore and picked up a book and the print is so small, you're like, there's
Right.
no way I'm reading it.
Yeah.
So that's something that will turn you off immediately. And I've done that.
Mm.
So I took personal experiences and I'm like,
That's
you know
smart.
what? I want to make this where somebody can read it. So that's why the print is so bold, so
Yeah.
that if
I
you
wonder
are
if
a
I can
person
see
who
it.
wears glasses, you can
Can you
see that
see
it's
it?
big enough for you to read it.
Yeah. I don't know if they can see it right now, but
Right.
from my camera. But yes, you're right, because I was so thankful. I kept reading because it's like it's easier to read. It's maybe a
Easy
trick
on
of
the
my
eye.
brain. It's easy on the eye. Yeah, I was like, oh wow. But when you start seeing like words that's close together and it's like this much, and you're like, oh my god, I can't do that, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So that's another tip for you guys who are writing your books right now. Y'all better go ahead and write that nugget down right there.
Yeah,
So
make sure, because if you wear glasses, it's like you're not going to want to read small print,
yeah.
and those are things that you do have an option to do when you are writing a book. Like they'll ask you, what print do you want? And that was one thing that I actually thought of before they even asked me. Like I want it to be big because me as a reader, I
Mhm.
don't want small print. It's going to be a
Yeah.
struggle, and that'll keep a person, even if a book is good, it'll deter them from reading it because the print is too small.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
truth.
I'm dropping bombs today.
You dropping bombs, and you giving them people knowledge right here, sister
Yes.
knowledge too. So that so you could be like a coach too. You ever thought about doing that, coaching people? Trying to teach them the ways.
Oh, yes.
She said, "Oh yes." I'm over here trying to get my water. I'm over here thirsty. So if you guys have any questions, please drop your questions right now. I see you, Brendan. He says, let's see right here. Also, there are too many replicas in this world, and you never see the authentic people bring out their difference. Come on, brother. That's
I
true.
like that.
That's true. You got to be authentic.
Yes.
Authentic. And in your book, I've never read a book like yours before. So like I'm like, whoa, I can't wait for part 2. And she's gonna be like part 3, and I'm gonna have a whole collection. It's gonna be dope.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. I know how rejection feels, Mrs. Moore. I've been rejected by many girls from 6th to 8th grade. Also, I've been rejected by people who are jealous of me too. Come on, what do you want to say to this young man right here? High school young guy. He has a podcast. What do you want to say to Brendan? He's a pretty smart guy too.
Brendan, keep going. Forget the naysayers. Let that push you. And I say that because, like I said, working on a project, with family and being told, oh, well, why are you doing this? And I felt like I had to sneak and do things and things like that. But no, it's your time to shine. And if one person isn't looking, there's several other that are looking. And you can inspire somebody just by continuing to move forward. Don't let people close you in a box. You give them power. So you can't do that. You can't give other people power. Let them be jealous. I mean, I would have people around me that would do what I would do, and I would be like, why she got to do that? Why he got to do that? Why they trying to be like me? But that's something that should be a form of flattery. That's something you should be happy that somebody wants to be like you. And it may be somebody who wants to do the same thing that you're doing, and they just, they don't know how to talk to you, or they don't know how to come at you. But yeah, keep shining, keep doing you.
Keep shining, keep doing you. Y'all heard that hashtag Tanika Moore. Keep shining, keep doing you. Someone said, when you think about quitting, think about why you started. Come on with it, Pastor Bella. Come on with it. All right, so we have a question. So, do you think it would be do you think it would be good for beginning authors to start with a kid's book? Good one. Yeah. So what do you think about that? Like, do you think beginning authors should start with a kid book, or like what is your
no,
view on that?
Because I didn't start with a kid's book. I went go hard or go home.
Go hard or go home.
Go hard or go home. I'm not going to close myself up to anything. I'm not going to just put myself in a box and say, well, because I just started writing, I'm going to do a kid's book. Now, if that's something you choose to do, that's different. I didn't want to write a kid's book.
Yeah.
I mean, I love children, but that wasn't, that's not what I had in mind. But if you have a thought about something you want to write, don't seclude it just to a kid's book. No.
Yeah. So it's like you have to know who your audience is and know who you're talking to, right? Yeah. So who would be your ideal audience, like for your book? Who's your ideal audience? Your person, mature. The person that's reading your book. Who did you think about when you were writing this book? Like, who did you imagine like reading this book?
I would say married people. I would say more of a mature audience, of course, because you know why. But I would say just those people who, I mean, I really wrote it because so many people thought I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They were they pushed me.
Yeah.
So I wrote it just to, I mean, it's really not just for a particular audience, it's for anybody. I mean, who loves to read and who's afraid of getting started, just to know that I didn't go, I did a few college courses, but I'm not, I didn't graduate, I mean, things like that. I have a high school diploma, I work with benefits and things like that. So you don't have to be a college major and all that to write. You can write. Just write.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come on now. So and I'm glad you shared that. So like can you speak to those people who feel like, man, I didn't go to college, I didn't do this or that, like what, I can't do anything. You're like, look, that didn't stop me. Like, so what was your journey like in the beginning? Was that anything that, held you back, or was that something like the way you saw yourself? Did you ever go through any identity crisis when you were building yourself up to be an author?
Definitely. Like I said, the fear of rejection was the biggest thing. But you have to just go through it knowing that everybody's not going to like what you do. Everybody's not going to cheer for you. You have people that will share things, but they won't buy it. They'll buy from other people. They won't buy from you. Oh, well, I'm family. Can I get a discount? I'm friend. Can I get a discount? Yeah. And at the end of the day, I have a job to do. This is my business, so I would more so say just the fear of rejection, really not, feeling accepted. That was my biggest thing. But like I said, I just kept pushing myself and saying, you know what, when this is done, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to celebrate. And I did my book release actually, because the book came out last year and I didn't really put a lot into it. So I felt like COVID really let me nurture my baby. That's what I call Vanilla Setbacks my baby. Yeah. And I feel like if you really have a business, COVID should have set you down and really made you look at your baby. Like, I've been neglecting my baby. And to me, I felt like I neglected Vanilla Setbacks. And I felt like, okay, what can I do to really put Vanilla Setbacks at the forefront? What can I really do to make my business grow? So me, I mean, and then stepping out on faith, like that's what I would say. Like, don't be afraid. Like, aim for the stars.
Aim for the stars. Shoot high, aim low. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
You want to do a rap battle real quick? I'm just playing. She said, yeah.
You don't want this.
Says, I love your title too. I heard someone say every setback is a setup for a comeback. Come on. Kobe.
And in this book, like with the title, like I say, when you read it, and you'll really understand the title once you read it. Yeah. Because you definitely want to do something that appeals to the book. So with
Right.
this, it really goes into it, and part 2 definitely will as well. It's gonna
Yeah.
really get into the meat of vanilla setbacks.
Oh my gosh. The meat.
So if
Where was
you
we at?
feel
Was we
like
on a
you
skin?
are on the edge of your seat now,
So
you're
where
really gonna
was
be
we
on the edge
at
of your
then? Where
part
we at here? This is just the outer layer.
That is
The outer,
that is the, what do I call it? I call it the
the shell.
appetizer.
No, the appetizer.
Part 2 is going to be your
Dang.
main dish.
So you giving us a main, so like this the kind of restaurant that gives you a big appetizer and you kind of full and you like, man, I'm what, you know, and then your eyes are bigger than your stomach and then you end up eating a big, okay, so I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the next trade then. We
Oh
ready
yes.
out here.
So part
So
2 is definitely something to look forward to.
I'm excited about that. So I want to ask our first question, trivia question for our prize of the book. And you're going to sign it, right? You're going to sign the 2 books, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. So she's going to sign it. So my first question for the audience here today is, what 2 items are depicted on the book cover? What 2 items are depicted on the book cover? I held it up a couple of times. If you're using Google, you might be smart. If you remember the title, oh, hold on, let me go over here. Oh, somebody probably looking on Google. Dang. Y'all go ahead and what 2 items are on the cover of the book? So y'all go ahead and try to take a stab at that, and we'll see who is the winner. The winner. I said the winner. The winner. But so what are your future I know you said you're working on your second book. So but what else outside of that are you going to do? I know we talked about the film. Do you plan on, taking that and running with it, or are you going to sit back?
So believe it or not, after I wrote it, I got an email about maybe 6 months later for someone to turn it into a film. I more so just looked at the email and just like tossed it, but I feel like it was confirmation when you said it. And a few other people have actually said it to me as well. They're like, you're really, really smart. Everything's descriptive. We could really make this something. So yeah. I definitely want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome and dope. So I hope somebody. Oh, I got to answer. Let me see what we got here.
Okay.
Vanilla plant. Okay, I need one more. So Brendan says vanilla plant.
Okay.
Well, that's the title, Vanilla Setbacks. You got that right. But there's another thing on there. You might get half credit. Well, I don't know, Brendan. Are you allowed to read this?
Right.
We get in trouble. You might have to give that to your parents.
Definitely.
She said definitely. But so I know that you have this huge desire, in your heart to write, and I want to write my books, too. So I'm trying to like learn from you, learn from your ways. Oh, yep. Vanilla plant and wire. Yep. So Stella has it. So what we'll do, I'll get his address for you and I'll send it to you and you'll sign it for him and do that like that. Awesome. So we got our first trivia. So I have that on there. Awesome. So for me, I want to ask a personal question because I know you talked to us earlier and told us how to get inspired, but I told you I have this other book that I'm like working on and I just can't seem to get back to it. And I know you mentioned like you go in and you write like a line here, a line there, but like like how do you get to that point of just like sitting down and writing that line? Like how do you stay inspired while writing that one book? Or is it okay to put it down?
Put it down. So the reason why I say that is because you don't want to be frustrated and just write just off impulse. So it's okay to work on something different. Another thing that helped me, and this is something that Darius helped me with, shout out More Moves. Write out of order. So with part 2, I've written about maybe 20 chapters, I would say.
Yeah.
They're not in order. If I feel the need to write, I write whatever comes to mind. So if I'm looking at that spider web and I am, saying, okay, well, what to write next? Or I don't feel like writing this chapter. I've been on this chapter too long. I will write something else. So definitely I would say write out of order. That helps me a lot. Write out of order. If you have a book that you're writing, that way when you get everything together, you can say, okay, well, now that I'm done writing everything, I can now put it in order.
Yeah.
Because the story is going to flow because of how you wrote it and how you're putting everything together. So I would definitely say the biggest thing for me, because I actually had this conversation with him like a week or two ago, and I'm like, I don't want to write. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. The people want the part 2, because I get emails and texts and DMs on a regular basis like, where is part 2? Anytime that I repost and I'm selling books, people are like, is part 2 out? Is this part 2? And it's not part 2. It's still part 1. But by me writing out of order, it helped with the writer's block. So if you are an author and you are writing and you're having writer's block, write out of order.
Write out of order.
Write out of order.
I'm going to do that, honestly, because I've been stuck for a long time and I'm ready to get back to it. You know, like, I'm ready. I've been inspired. And you've given me some ideas. Now, I'm not going to steal from your book. You can go ahead and check my new book when I write it. I'm just saying you've given me ideas because you, like I said, you paint pictures well and you tell the story well. So, like, just the way that I write, you know, I'm like, okay, let me get my Tanika Moore on and like start, getting the details, the scent, the smell, the feel, and the thoughts, like, and please, people, please purchase this book and support her. Lord Jesus, please do it, please, because you need to. All right. So Brandon got the other trivia question right. It is North Carolina, but Brandon, you gotta give me your parents' name. I got your address, so we'll just mail it to your parents. Just ask them first. I don't want to, but we could see. Or I'll wait till you're 18. So. But Jade, what it do? She said, let's go, Purpose Pod backdrop.
I love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so Tanika, I really appreciate you being on the Purpose Pod. Is there a message that you want to share with the folks out there? I got your information right here for where they can find you on Instagram. I'm just Nika. Y'all make sure y'all go check her out and support her, buy her book, please, because she is talented, gifted, and smart. So do you have any closing words for the people out here, and anything you want to leave with them, and also where to send them for your book?
So you put me on the spot. One thing I will say, without giving too much of a spoiler, don't get so caught up in yourself that you forget about your significant other. This was something that was put in the book to shed light on something that happens on a regular basis. We can be so perfect till we're not. We can be so perfect that we're complacent. Keep it funky, keep it spicy, keep it like the same way you met them, the same thing you got to do to keep them. So that's one thing I will say. And with Tracey, so many people have reached out to me like, oh, that's just terrible. But you don't know what a person's going through. You don't know what they're afraid to talk to, the other significant other about. Like, you have to live life knowing that it's always somebody that could be better than you for your significant other.
Yeah.
But you have to eliminate that thought by being the best person that you can be. And checking in and communication is key. I tell anybody that, like, you have to make sure that you understand, like, okay, I have this person, but what can I do to keep them around? How can I keep them entertained? Things like that. So I bring that up to say, because even with me, I take salsa lessons. I would have never imagined in a million years taking salsa lessons, but it's so fun and it's exciting, and the communication and the eye contact. And, if anybody ever looks at the videos, the first few videos, there's no eye contact between me and my husband. But as we progress, there's communication, there's eye contact. So letting him be the leader. Definitely something that I would say. But if you are looking for the book, it's on authorhouse.com. You can get it on Amazon. It's on Apple Book. Like, it's everywhere. Type in Vanilla Setbacks. And you actually, if you're not really sure about getting it, I can tell you that if you go on Google, there is a teaser on Google. And when I tell you how the teaser ends, you're going to want to pick the book up because the teaser left me like, woo, they put that up there. So mature eyes only. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a teaser on Google. So definitely check it out. Like I said, if you want to message me I'm just Nika. If you go on Facebook, I'm under Tanika Moore. I actually have a running blog that I'm working on. It's actually called A Runner's Wife. And I've been neglecting that baby. So but with COVID, my husband hasn't been racing that much. So but I definitely will go back on there and start sharing some experiences. But yeah, definitely check me out. Like I said, DM me, message me. I'm here if you feel uninspired. I'm definitely here to be your ray of sunshine.
Oh, that's dope. So that's dope. She put herself out there for y'all to reach out and to connect with her. If you need some inspiration, if you need some advice, to talk to her. The other coach Moore got y'all, more moves in the writing as well. So, my wife says, great interview, Tanika, and great advice for aspiring authors.
Oh,
thank you, Amber Little Peanut. I appreciate you. So yes, guys and gals, this is Tanika Moore. I appreciate you so much, Tanika, and I can't wait for your other books to come out or novellas to come out because I am inspired. And like I said, I'm going to say this 100,000 times. You're an awesome writer, and I mean it. I hope you know that I really do mean it, not just because you're on my podcast. You are definitely. So you guys definitely make sure y'all go follow her right now. I'm just Nika on Instagram, and I will also be posting more videos and clips, and I have pictures of her on my Instagram. If y'all need to follow her through my page, you can do that as well. So you guys have the resources to get to her. So please get to her. Tanika, thank you. Just hold on in the back office. I will be with you soon. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. So this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and love. So that was Tanika Moore. Oh my gosh, she is dope, and her book is amazing. Like I keep saying it over and over and over again. I need to write a review on like Google because I love this book. It's amazing. Me as a man, I can read this book a couple of hundred times. I might have to go through it over again just to start over because I was kind of rushing through it. And I just want to take my time. So y'all make sure y'all go follow her today on Instagram. I'm just Nika, Tanika Moore, the author, not just the wife of More Moves, the author, Tanika Moore. So y'all make sure y'all go hit her up on Instagram. This has been another episode of the Purpose Pod. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your boy, Alan Levi Simmons. Peace.